Are you a local service provider that could use more high quality leads? Well, hang with me over the next few minutes in this video. I'm going to walk you through a key tactic that you should be using in your business that will help you start generating more high quality leads. I'm Bill Utenage, and I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book, Referability Roadmap. And hey, I help local service based providers just like you generate more high quality leads. And what I want to talk about in today's video is rewarding the behavior. Now, what do I mean by rewarding behavior? Well, in the world of business, of the world of referrals, is what I have found now in over 3 decades of running and owning service-based businesses and working with service-based business owners is that the human condition, when we are acknowledged or we are appreciated in something, we will usually have the tendency to want to repeat that action that generated that, right? This is why, with breaking it down, making it simple, it's like this is why Facebook and social media works so well. Is it's the dopamine hit that when we post something and we get likes, right? Then it makes us it makes us want to go back to that more and to look at it. And the human condition works throughout pretty much everything. And one of the things is rewarding the behavior is that, for example, when someone refers you, which is, one of the biggest compliments that you can get is so powerful. And I think that a lot of us forget about the power inside of that. For someone to step out and kind of go, hey, you need to use this person. They did an awesome job, because what they're doing is that they're putting their reputation, if you think about it, on the line for you with this person that they're close to. Because what they're believing is that the way that you serve them is that you're going to serve that other person. And so we never want to take that lightly. This is why you hear me talk about this, that referrals these are the gold in your business. And when someone makes that referral, one of the things that we want to make sure that we are doing always is that we want to reward that behavior. We want to acknowledge that referral. And that can look a lot of different ways. Now, depending on what industry that you are in, so I'm not giving you legal advice or anything like that, because the issue of it is in some industries, you can't reward the behavior, even like give anything of monetary value to some. I know in the real estate world, that's the world that I came out of. And I know in financial services and insurance, it's different. So understand what you can and you can't do in your respective industries. But the thing about it is that it is as simple as really acknowledging that is one, picking up the phone and calling them and thanking them for the referral. Okay. That first and foremost, and not if it turns into business. Here's the thing that I see so many, local service providers, the mistake that they make is they get the referral and then they wait to see, okay, well, if it turns into business, then I'll acknowledge it. I'll thank them, for that. No. We don't want to do that. We want to reward the behavior, because the behavior is something that we want them to continue to do. Because if someone raises their hand even once and they refer you, then there's an opportunity for them to do that again in the future. If a couple of things happen, one, I truly believe this is to acknowledge it. And even people will say, I don't want the acknowledgement. We want the acknowledgement. I don't care what behavioral profile that you are. All of us like to be acknowledged and to be appreciated. And what we appreciate appreciates, meaning is that if I do that, if I reward the behavior, if I pick up the phone and Jason referred his friend to me and I'm calling him up like, Jason, hey, thank you so much for referring Sarah to us. That is awesome. We really appreciate your confidence, right? I want to acknowledge that. The other thing that I want to do is I want to send them. I'm just telling you hear me talk about this all the time, is the power of the power of the handwritten note. If you're in an industry where you're not really giving anything of monetary value, right? On that, then there's no monetary value in writing a card. There's a ton of value, intrinsic value in this for the person that's receiving it. But the thing about it is that you just want to write this note just saying, hey, Jason, thank you again so much for referring Sarah to us. We're going to take great care of her. Now, whether or not that it works out, that you get the business or whatever, doesn't matter. I just want to acknowledge, hey, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. And then what happens is someone gets the note, they get the call. And and then the other thing you could do is, hey, take them to lunch. Get face to face with them. Like, well, hey, I really appreciate that. Let's grab coffee, whatever the case may be. And if you're in a place where you can do that, is if you can, if sending them a gift works inside of your industry, then make it something that's going to be personal. It may be, it may be a book, right? Is that you could send them that something that you think that would help them in their lives. It could be maybe a bottle of wine, whatever that is, but that makes that personal and specific to them, because then they get that, right? And it doesn't have to be a big deal, because here's the thing where it becomes, because people go, oh, well, hey, I'll just give them this, this grandiose thing, like, whatever. I'm going to give them a cruise or whatever. Then it becomes awkward and it's like, oh, that's a lot. But when it's something that it's just thoughtful, right? Being thoughtful and getting to that and being quick about doing this, like immediately, like if I'm getting the referral, is it within 24 hours, no longer? I want to be acknowledging that, right? And that's easy enough to write. I can write a note, drop that in the mail, and then I'm gonna give them a call. If I don't reach them on the phone, I'm gonna leave them a voicemail. Hey, thank you so much, for doing that. I'm even probably gonna text them and just say, hey, just left you a voicemail, Jason. Just want to say, hey, thank you for referring Sarah. We're gonna take great care of her. We have an appointment, whatever, if you want to let them know, hey, we're meeting, next week or tomorrow, whatever, right? That you've made contact with them. And that way, so you're on it. What it does is it shows that one, that you're appreciative, okay, which is huge. Two is that you're on it. You're taking it serious. It's like, man, he's already reached out to Sarah. Like, hey, we set this appointment. We're on it. Because what happens is, right, here's the thing, the whole bigger picture of referrals. And I know that I teach this. It's, yes, we want to stay in consistent contact, and we're bringing value and goodwill, right? We're helping our people either solve a problem or making their life easier or better in some way, right? But the key piece of this is really understanding that is this acknowledgement, because that appreciation and showing up and doing a great job for this person that they referred, because it makes them look good. Because then in this case, that Sarah goes back and just like, hey, Jason, thank you so much for referring Bill. When man, whatever that is. And if they're, because then they're giving that reinforcement back and they're going, oh, wow, that's awesome. So it makes them feel good and look good, right? And who doesn't want to feel good and look good, around things, especially to people that are close in their lives. And then we've acknowledged that, we've rewarded the behavior, right? Reward can look a lot of different ways, but we've acknowledged it, we've appreciated that. And there's where the key piece of that, there's where then is Jason more likely to refer you to refer in the future? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Now it's like got that dopamine hit where it's just like, oh, wow, Sarah's happy. She's excited and she's thanking me, and Bill's thanking me. I'm being appreciated. I'm being seen. All of these things. Then it goes back to what I talk about a lot of, is the reticular activator, right? Because then now Jason's reticular activator is like, I got this dopamine hit. Hey, who else can I send? Who else can I be looking for and having antennas up, whatever that may be? And this absolutely works. This is one of the things was a game changer in our business when we really understood that. The other thing to do is to double that up, is we appreciate when we reward the behavior, right, when it initially happens. And then secondly, I would always say is like after, and again, using real estate or mortgage, whatever, like in mortgage. So, hey, we closed on the loan and everything went great, is then just sending another time to send a card, because that could be a couple of months or whatever the case may be. Is you just send another card, so going, hey, Jason, just want to thank you again for referring Sarah. Hey, we closed on her house yesterday. It's so she's super excited, but and it's just kind of an update. I don't think it's necessary you got to update them through the whole process. Most people don't. We've acknowledged them in the beginning, and then we've acknowledged them again, right? Because then it's just another hit to them where it's just like hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you supporting my business. Hey, without great people like you referring us, we don't have the business that we have, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate you, right? Simple. It's not, this isn't rocket science. We're not splitting atoms, but the issue of it is that's what I see so many times. And it even happens to me is I refer someone and I'm like, I don't know. Did they get the referral? Did they acknowledge it? No, I didn't hear from the other person. And then what's even worse, this is where we have to really be careful. We have to understand this is why we have to have, a system and processes in place with this, because we don't want these slipping through the cracks. Is because if I refer someone and like that person that I referred them to, they didn't ever respond back to them. And then the person goes like, I'm like, hey, how did it work out, with Joe? And they're like, well, I reached out to him and I never heard back from him. And it's like, oh man. See, there's where that works against you when you don't acknowledge it, when you don't like, and it falls down because when that happens, this person's kind of disappointed, like, oh, well, we ended up finding somebody else. We went a different way. Now I don't look good and feel as good as I would want to, is if that person would have actually called them and had a conversation. Even if they couldn't help them, that person would have said, oh yeah, I talked to Joe. Wasn't something that that they could help me with, but he put me in contact with Steve, whatever that other person is. So there was still value inside of that, but still he should have, again, you want to go back and you want to acknowledge that, reward the behavior. It is so important. It will definitely magnify the number of referrals from that person, because if I don't get acknowledged, and it's probably not the killer for everyone. But the second thing that I know is the killer is like when the follow-up is terrible. Like, yeah, it took a week or whatever the case may be, right? And there's where then, where it's like, oh man, if I have the opportunity next time, am I going to refer to Joe? I don't know. I got to think about that. And what we can't have, you and I as business owners, we can't have people doubting and thinking whether or not they want to refer us, because I'll tell you what, then they won't. 90% of them will not do it. And the issue of it is, it's unfortunate. It's like, we have that old saying is, we have one time to make a first impression. It's the same thing is that as we got to be looking at these referrals, we have to understand to be able to track those, whatever in your CRM, whatever in your CRM, whatever it is to do that, is that we want to make sure, because if we're doing the work, if we're building our business that way, we're staying in contact with people, we're bringing people, bringing them value. And then when we get, that's the whole thing is that we're building all of this is to generate those referrals and generating those referrals more consistently. And when we drop the ball on that recognition and or the service, right, the contact with that person that was referred, man, we can't do that. So I just want to make sure, and this is one of the things that I think so many times is that we miss, because we get busy and we think, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then a week goes by or 2 weeks goes by. And then the other person, because you're running your business and you've got multiple things going on, this person that referred you, right? That's the only thing, not saying the only thing they're thinking about, but they're like, oh, I wonder how that went. I wonder if they ever did business with him, or, and they don't know because you didn't let them know, or you didn't contact the person, and that other person's going to let them know that you didn't contact them, and like, well, I'm not doing business with them because they never called me. That's the worst. We can't do that. And especially in the world that we live in right now is that everything's instant gratification, and like it or don't like it. But this is why speed, right? Speed of implementation. Speed is the great separator. I talk about it in the book, right? Speed is the great separator. Meaning is we got to get to it. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Because if we don't do it now, then we're going to forget about it. Especially if we don't have any kind of systems in place to that way, that's going to trigger us. It's like, oh, this person came in, and that's all can be set up inside of the right CRM. But is like, yeah, I got this referral. So here's the thing. Now I get something triggers me that I get a task to say, hey, I need to call this person and I need to write them a note. See, when we're left to our own devices and we're writing it, on like little sticky notes, and we're putting them everywhere, we're only as good as the systems that we put into place. And especially if you're a solopreneur, it's even more challenging. This is why you hear me harp about this all the time of having the right CRM. And by using that, by utilizing the right one to where you're able to actually to automate a lot of things and have systems in place to where, hey, I get this person in, and then I'm getting reminded on, hey, these are the things I got to do. Then the likelihood of that falling through the cracks is pretty slim at that, at that point in time. But if we're just willy-nilly around going, oh, I'll remember that. I gotta send a note to Jason. And then guess what? 2 weeks later, you think about it, you're like, oh man, I never sent that note. Doggone it, right? Let's not be that way, right? Let's be as Darren Hardy says, let's be the exception. Okay. Because and when we're the exception and we're doing those, we're delivering world-class service, 5-star service, whatever that is that you want to call it, is and that we're appreciating people, we're doing all of those things. There's where you're going to see, just where you're going to see the consistency for inside of your business. And one of the things that I hear this all the time, and I've heard this forever, is people are like going, well, I get, yeah, I work by referral. I get referrals. So there's a different, I get referrals versus I'm generating referrals. Getting referrals is just willy nilly. Like, hey, you did a good job. You're going to have somebody that's going to, you're going to, a broke clock is right twice a day, I say. And so you're going to get some referrals. If you deliver a great service and you do that. Generating referrals, right, is having a system around doing that. Yes, delivering world-class service, doing all of those things, but also having a system in place where we're consistently staying in front, right? Which I teach, my 36 Connect program on that. If you want a copy of that, just let me know, put it in the comments, and I'll send that over to you, the breakdown of how do we stay in constant communication. The issue is why we're staying in constant communication and helping them solve a problem, right? Or making their life easier or better is, right, to build that relationship to what? To get the referral. And we get the referral, then it's like, okay, making sure that we're going to treat that like gold, reward the behavior, right? It's all part of the process. Because then that person, when they have the other opportunity, they're like, man, that really felt good. I got the card. They'll call me. Hey, we went out to lunch. It was awesome. He was super appreciative. I really understand, how his business. And that's the thing, is like letting people know, is it's like, hey, this is how I run my business. People like you, that we want to do an awesome job. So you'll want to refer your friends and family to us, and we're going to give them the same kind of service that we gave you. But if you don't let people know that, right? So it's that whole process. Does it take some time? Absolutely. But the issue of it is that it is the most cost productive thing that you can possibly do, is that when you get that referral, because now you've paid no customer acquisition costs to get that referral. You may have from the person that it came from, but now that second one that they come in, now the beauty of it is that, so they referred, they're doing business with you. Now you get to tap into the 250 people that person knows. You building that relationship, and you see it's a flywheel. Ultimately, is what it is. But so many local service business, whether you're in insurance, real estate, mortgage, financial services, right, is so many times is that we understand it. I believe that we understand the concept. I think it's like, oh yeah, and I have a database. That's where I put my people, but I'm not connecting with them on a regular basis. And if I am, I'm not bringing them any kind of really goodwill or value. And so there's where we kind of go in, is like, well, we can't really count on referrals because they're just going to come when they're going to come. Well, if you're just trying to get them, then that's going to be the case. If you're going to be a referral generator, right, then that looks different. Because I know in my real estate business, we could know, right, and I've talked about this before, is for every 8 to 10 people that we had in our database, we were going to get a closed transaction. And so we knew that we were going to average getting over 100 closed transactions a year. We were going to have we have 1,000 people in our database that we were marketing to, right? Staying in contact with them, doing all of those things, and why 94% of that business was referred. And so I don't say it from theory or anything else. I can just say it from from my own experience of doing it, and experience of others that I've helped, do that as well, to where it's like, and that was in real estate. So it may be, the numbers may be different. I'm just giving you like what our numbers were as far as, on that referral side of it. But the issue of it is that when we have that database and we're marketing to that on a regular basis, again, doing it the right way, and then rewarding that behavior. So when that referral comes through, then it's like ding 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 ding. It's like, it should be, think about it as like, it's like when, like hitting the jackpot, right, on the slot machine. The lights are blinking and everything is on it. That's what that's like when someone's going to give you that referral. They're going to go like, here you go. I'm going to give you free business. Now, I still have to earn it, still have to be that I truly can help them and do that. But the issue is, at least I get an opportunity that this person's thinking about me. And this is where we're like, we got to be off to the races on appreciation. And then, as you know, what I teach, in our database system is, if they're referring us, multiple times, right? What are they? They're an A client to us. Or they're doing business with us multiple times. But then that's how we build that relationship. It's like, this person's raised their hand. They're like, hey, I believe in you. So I want to spend more time with them. I want to appreciate that person, find out how I can help them more, because they're helping me. When I get a referral, that person's helping me build my business free. Like, I'm not paying them. They're not on the payroll. So that's why a little of appreciation goes a long, long way. And it can be as simple as just a thank you call, a handwritten note, right? A cup of coffee, maybe a lunch, or whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be, a new Bentley. Though somebody may like that, but it doesn't need to be that extreme. So that's what I've got for you in today's training. I hope that is helpful. I want you to be thinking about this again, it's gold. It's like a plate of gold that someone's handing you on the referral. You've earned that, because they wouldn't have referred you if you didn't do a good job for them. And so the key piece of that is just be thinking about this. How am I going to continue? I'm delivering world-class service in all of this, and setting that expectation. And that's where we go back and another training, talk about, how you work, is letting people know, hey, this is how I run my business. But make sure that you're rewarding the behavior at a minimum, right? Is we're going to be calling them, thanking them. We're going to send them a handwritten note, thanking them, right? Again, for the referral, and getting face-to-face. And if your industry allows, then yes, you can send them a small gift. Here's what I'm going to say not to do is, don't send them a coffee mug with your logo on it. I mean, some people may like that, but then again, it doesn't feel personal. It doesn't feel genuine. It's like, oh, like a logoed, t-shirt, or whatever the case may be. Find out what they like, and you should, because these people. It's just like, whatever that may be. I talked about that. It could be a book, it could be, a bottle of wine. It could be, whatever. There's a billion different ways to do that, but make it specific to what they like, because then it's more personal. They're like, oh, wow. Hey, I love books about crocheting, right? This person loves to crochet. It's like, hey, I saw this book about crocheting. I thought about you. Hey, right? Simple. It doesn't have to be rocket science in doing that. So that's what I've got for you guys today. If you want a copy of the 36 Connect, right? The 36 Connect breaks it down, right? What you should be doing on a monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually basis, and staying in contact, bringing goodwill, right? Be thinking, right? Helping your clients solve a problem, making their life easier and better in some way. And if you can do that, people are going to keep you in their lives. If I got somebody that's doing that for me, I want them as close as possible, right? In the world that I live in. So that's what I got for you in today's training. Hope that is helpful. Just drop the word plan if you want a copy of that 36 Connect, the client engagement. I call it sometimes multiple different things, but just drop the word plan in the comments down below. I'll shoot it over to you for free. And as always, if you guys have any questions, need help, want to start really exponentially starting growing that referral business, let me know. I offer a 20-minute free just consultation. It's not me trying to hard sell you on anything. It's just like, one is understanding your business, and will this work for you? Everything works if we do the work.